Hey, yo, what is going on, guys? We got episode number 60 of Marvel Yap today. We're going to be talking about the brand new Horde season, as well as giving you guys decks and strategies on how to play these decks for these new zombie Horde cards, as well as our takes on the state of the meta and the state of life in Snap right now. Let's go ahead and jump right into it.
Gambit's dumb. I don't like Gambit. I have matching split, by the way, unrelated. I was going to check that, then I got dude, I have if you give a mouse a cookie so hard right now. You know.
And this is episode number 60 of Marvel Yap. That was the nice cold intro, cold takes from the beautiful blue-eyed white dragon, Gambit Hater, with a mustache that'll put a smile on your face every time you see it. Not my dance. How are you doing today, Dance?
I wasn't ready for the cold intro. Doing well, bud. Maybe a little bit angry at Gambit, but in general, I'm doing fine. How about you?
Doing all right. Tired, but there was a lot of just good football on yesterday, so I was able to watch some good football. I guess even prior to that, like a couple days ago, I guess now, because we were posting this on Tuesday, but we record this on a Monday. But
no, we record this legitimately as it goes live. I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, I forgot my internet's just built like that. Live. It's
yeah,
a
dude.
pod.
Well, we talked this before. You have crazy upload. This isn't even relevant to anything. You've got the crazy upload speed, but then once in a while your ISP just decides to give you the middle finger and say, nah, it doesn't want to work.
And that's what happened last week when I tried to upload that 2.5 hour long Marvel Yap that we had.
I didn't realize it was the 2.5 hours, bro. It was a great yap. I loved it, but it was also did not realize it was 2.5 hours until it was uploaded. I was like, oh. This is 2.5 hours. Oh, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I had a great time. It was great to have Roram on the show and everything too, and get some extra takes. Different than what we had thought in a bunch of situations when it comes to this game. So really cool to talk about that. And what else we're talking about today is gonna be the new Horde season. We're gonna be going over every single card releasing. We're also gonna be giving decks for 3 out of the 5 new cards that are coming out this next week as well. I might throw in another one as well, so we may have 7 decks. We at least have 6 right now. And then we're going to be talking about the state of Snap as we go into this new season and this later half of the year. But if we do want to, go ahead and jump right into it, Dan, so we got to start and we got to talk about the brand new season pass card, of course, which is going to be none other than Zombie Scarlet Witch.
So, I'm going to say we have her on the board, but do you mind if we talk about the mechanic just for a second here? Because additional information, I missed this bit when all the information about Horde was coming out, and we were talking about this in the first data mines and what have you. But the way that the Horde mechanic in general works.
Yeah.
So apparently the way that it does work, right? So we knew the stuff where it generates the Horde, it adds power to it. I didn't know the first thing was that it creates it at a different location. When did this get clarified? I missed that bit.
I didn't know that until the dev video. That it has to be, it's at a different location than the card of, if there's no Horde available, no Horde on the board and you do the on reveal for a Horde or you play something on the Scarlet Witch, that Horde does not go to that location where you play the card.
Yeah. I missed that in the dev video, and I saw you, I think, and Cam Best talking about that, where they mentioned that. I'm like, I'm sorry, this does what? I just didn't even realize that's part in the slightest. But yeah, so that's already a pretty interesting bit that I hadn't noticed. Secondarily, did you see Glenn talked about some of the nuances with the Horde as well?
No, what are the nuances with the Horde?
So nuances are that if the Horde basically isn't on the board, if it is in your hand or destroyed or whatever you wanted to say with it, if it's elsewhere, basically, a new one will be made.
Okay.
But if somehow you get multiple on the board, Horde will add power to both of the cards.
Oh, so you're saying if you had 2 on the board, if you played another card onto Zombie Scarlet Witch, both Hordes would get +2 power.
Yeah, and the way you would do that, right, because there's technically no way right now in the game, it'd be either with you have to basically pull it into your hand and then copy it using Nico's copy mode, or maybe one of the cards I didn't build with it. I'm just gonna preface that now, but Bastion.
Yeah, so Bastion makes sense, but also, wouldn't you not have to copy it? Wouldn't you just need to bounce it back into your hand, then play a different card on the Scarlet Witch to make a new Horde, and then play your old Horde out?
Honestly, I didn't even think about that, but you're completely correct. Yeah. I'm assuming even if it's like if it's face down at that point, I'm gonna bet it's gonna be like Thor's, where it's like if it's face down and there's nothing, I bet it will make 2, and then maybe buff both. We'll talk about that. I've got a deck that's gonna try to do some of that stuff, but that's a whole different thing we didn't know about, and I felt like it was important. And there's one other thing specifically talking about one of the Series 4 cards that also is coming out later today as well, that I'll mention when we get there. But that's a bunch of weird stuff just with the Horde mechanic in general.
Okay.
So, pretty interesting.
Yeah, very interesting. And I believe the Horde is a 0-cost card.
Yes.
So if you balance it 2, you can get some extra value, which you guys might see in a deck later on as well. But the brand new Season Pass, the premium Season Pass as they like to call it, card is going to be Zombie Scarlet Witch, which is after you play a card here, +2 Horde, meaning the Horde gets +2 power every time you play a card here. So this is a repeat ability, kind of similar to like with Hope Summers. You can play multiple cards here to get extra energy like you would for Hope Summers, but this is multiple cards here to get extra power onto the Horde.
Yeah. This is basically, Angela used to be a +2.
Yeah.
But this is basically Angela, but the power is elsewhere.
Yeah. And 3
which
cost.
is... And 3 costs, yeah. So it's technically higher scalar, but you have to separate it out onto the board. There's a lot of really interesting stuff with Zombie Scarlet Witch. And I remember when we were talking about this, I was thinking, like, this is going to be a lot weaker. But I've been thinking about it more and more, and especially now that we know, like, there's ways to copy the Horde and buff multiple up, as well as, like, how easy it is. I feel like there's a really good chance that this is going to be a lot better than expected. And I think Glenn even said something straight up where it was like, we could try to do more, but we think that the mechanic has enough to put it out for now.
Yeah, I'm very interested to see how that works. I think honestly, the way the deck, I mean, we're hinting at Dance's deck, but I think Dance's deck is like a great shout for being able to kind of utilize this in a different way to be able to get some like extra value and get the extra power on the board. Because my main issues with this are Stardust and Shadow King. Of course, I'm seeing more Stardust right now anyways, and I think more people are going to be running Stardust. But let's say they're not running Stardust, being able to bounce this back into your hand and be able to play it later on so then it doesn't get hit by a Shadow King, I think actually will be a bit better for you. And maybe you do set this up to bounce 2 of them, so then you have 2 extra cards you could play with some other stuff, is what I'll say, later on as well. So I'm getting more excited for this card, but I'm not as hyped, I would say, for these zombie cards in general.
I think some of the zombie cards are less exciting, but I think one of the cards is actually really good, and we'll get to that one. But it's also one of the biggest things I think is interesting is that not only are, the Season Pass card is Horde, they also made it so that I think at least one of the Series 4 cards releasing today is also a Horde mechanic. The Series 5 card and the Series 5 card inside of the Super Premium Season Pass, neither one of them have the Horde mechanic. And then also the ones coming out later this month in their limited time events, both of them also mess with the Horde mechanic, which feels like they want this mechanic just to be out there more. Like, they could have tried to make it so those other cards were like, I don't know, just in general, other different things that weren't super focused on this mechanic, this gimmick, but they put more of them out there, which is really interesting stuff.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see how this October season measures up to last October season, which had to measure up from the previous one, because last October season was Agent Venom, it was all the symbiotes. And then the one prior to that, I do believe that was with Elsa Bloodstone, Werewolf by Night, Black Knight, Man-Thing. I think those were the 4. And then the first one, I believe, was like the Loki season. So like our October seasons
Loki was September.
Loki was September, and then Elsa was October?
Yeah. I don't know if... And then I think the previous one, it was back in the beta, because I believe Miles was November, I want to say. Okay.
So then comparing the, like, Night Forge kind of Halloween stuff, like, the October cards, if we look at them holistically, have had an impact on the meta almost long-term or definitely long-term. Like, looking at something like an Elsa Bloodstone was a huge meta card. They had to be, nerfed and readjusted. Werewolf by Night Also, one of those cards that had to be nerfed, readjusted, and been, all sorts of other things. And then we have last year we have Toxin, Scream, two big staple cards. Agent Venom was pretty solid still, or Anti Venom and Agent Venom are all all pretty
Agony's
decent.
still there. I don't know. I haven't thought about that in terms of what do you mean? Actually, no. Agony did Agony come out that season, or was it actually later?
She was data mined that season, but she did not. I don't think she came out that.
Same thing as Lasher, actually. I think. But it's shoot. Who's the one cost for discard?
Scorn. Scorn came out.
Scorn is what I'm thinking of.
So Staples came out like last year.
I've never thought about that as like the October thing, so that's an interesting way to think about it. You know what I noticed, which is weird? Speaking of all the way back in that Elsa Bloodstone season, Second Dinner is doing this for later on this month, which they're saying October 22nd to the November 1st. They're doing a dark fantasy featured set.
Okay.
Which is specifically, it looks like a bunch of just cards that what is it again, for it's like the specific snap packs or whatever, cards that are going to be specific for a lot of these things. But most notably, at least in the image that they have, and I'm gonna copy this link just so you can pull it up on stream here, because I think this is interesting enough. But they show one of the season pass cards from that November or October season from 2 years ago, or 2 or 3 years ago, up as the option here in the middle as it gets pulled up on screen for 1,500 collector tokens, which is really interesting potentially for the idea of these limited time series, like season pass cards or whatever, or like these season pass variants coming back. And as you're pulling up, I know I'm not trying to push you on that bit. How do you feel about that potential of like, after a year or two, these variants may come back in terms of like the spotlights or like in this bit? And he's pulling it up, I swear. Chat, I swear.
I think it's very interesting to
Sorry,
know.
I threw you off by telling you to do this randomly because I just thought about that. I'm so sorry. I'm putting you under the bus, but it should be known that I have actively thrown you under said bus. There you go.
Yeah, I think this is very interesting to note because they've always said that like season pass variants are going to be exclusive to the season pass. Of course, this is like just specific for Dark Fantasy, but this opens up the door for them to do other things. And I'm also curious, in that Dark Fantasy pack, how many variants and stuff are going to be in that? Like, is it going to be similar to like the Fantastic Four pack, which I think you only could get one variant in that pack?
I don't remember how many it was, but I got a lot of variants at that time. I just picked up every single variant that I just kept buying that pack until I had nothing left.
Because I didn't buy any, so I don't know exactly what came and how many came in.
It was a lot. I could probably try to find that out, but it was quite a few. I will try to find out exactly how many, but I can promise you there were a lot of those.
Okay.
But it's an interesting thing, and I still wanted to I wanted to point it out at least here that like they are potentially just bringing those back. Potentially, in a way, right? People, it's removing exclusivity. But I'm just gonna say, like, I love the exclusivity of it, but also I've seen this similarly with like Fortnite doing it, honestly, where it's like they say these variants are exclusive for 365 days, or these skins.
That's a newer thing they've just added.
Right? Yeah, it is newer. I think actually it's one of their first bits are actually like coming back around finally. So if Second Dinner's Marvel Snap's potentially doing this, because I haven't heard them say anything about season pass variants being exclusive for about a year, and if they're trying to say that this is an option as of now, I know people are gonna be upset because gamers always are, but also I don't know if I really am.
Yeah, I mean, I like exclusivity, but I also like inclusivity. So like I like the idea of people who have not been able to get these variants, but have no other way of getting these variants, having an opportunity. It is for tokens, of course, too. You know, so that you do have that to think about. Do you want to get a new card, or do you want to buy a variant for a card? So just something to keep in mind there. But it is a great new idea, and I think talking about
5, by the way.
You got 5, okay. But talking about some new ideas,
all of the ones I could have gotten. But
new cards, we still do have a good old Headpool.
As I've messed you up entirely.
Good old Headpool, which is the super premium season pass card,
which
that is releasing.
as of last season, Super Premium Season Pass, of course, is also being released directly into the seasonal Series 5 Snap Pack. So the Super Premium Season Pass has an exclusive variant, which I'm saying exclusive now in like a quotation mark because, you know, a year later, I don't know. But this is... It's funny that they gave us a variant for this guy. Literally a year ago, I think.
They did. They
Not
gave
even a
us,
year.
I think during like the same... No, I think during the Deadpool Wolverine season, we actually had a Deadpool.
Actually, that was about a year ago. Yeah, that was about a year ago because it was the Gwenpool season, which I think was... That was before Symbiote Spider-Man season, I think.
Yep. They like to now just re-release cards for us that we've gotten variants of and be like, oh, well, you got a new card here. Which, by the way, if you guys did not know, Headpool is Series 5 Super Premium Season Pass card with the ability... When this is destroyed, return it to your hand, comma, then give all cards in your hand +1 power, which means Headpool gets +1 power, as well as the other cards in your hand. This is a 1-cost, 1-powered destroy card.
Which, speaking of, this is... there are a bunch of little things about these cards that I just missed until watching your, like, breakdown thing. I kid you not. Like, I did not realize, again, that it gave itself +1 power till I watched your video. I was like, oh, yes, this makes sense. Which, I mean, if I'm going to talk, y'all, you're here. You're on youtube.com/@Tucker. So go ahead down below right now, hit that subscribe button. But make sure you are subscribed to him because he puts out the great content that I watch as well, because legitimately I'm learning things as well, and I'm resharing it now to everyone else here. So please make a point to go down below, give him all the support, give him the love, watch all of his videos, find out if you're going to buy or bust all over these brand new cards. It's buy or bust, right? I can promise you that every single time I see Tuck, both. I appreciate, he's a great guy. Go over to his twitch.tv/TUCCRR. It's awesome. He's on TikTok. He's on Twitter. He's everywhere. And he's a lot better than I am in terms of these bad jokes.
Rambo,
so please.
Rambo, Dan said it. He said he didn't say it last yap. He did this yap.
I didn't mean to. But I kept talking about your buy or bust, and I'm like, oh my god, at that point. He's awesome. Go give him support. Give him up everything, please. He's amazing. But it's funny though. So they talked about this, or Glenn mentioned Headpool in particular in the team answers area, and someone asked like, okay, so have y'all tested with just the Headpool variant and the new card, because to see how like confusion it would be. And Glenn said that the logos they think differentiate enough, but in ideal world we'd probably have had withheld the variant. We were just excited about the movie.
Yeah, they probably, and the variant too is better than a couple of the other. Like they could have made that the base variant, even though I like this base variant. Like they could have had that as
it's a
option. Yeah,
it's a good base variant, but also like isn't Deadpool's album just called like Buy My Album? I think. Yeah, Buy My Variants. Yeah, it is. Oh yeah, where did the if I'm looking actually between it, I have the Headpool variant up. I'm not gonna lie, this one's better.
Yeah, this one's better. The other one looks more like a zombie though.
It does look more like a zombie. You're right. Yeah. But I think this one, it feels more alive, which is weird, right? Because it's undead, but at the same time, it like. I like the even with the dead cards, I like them to feel alive. I like them to feel like they're doing cool things. Even if my Deadpool variant, exactly. Even if my current Deadpool variant is the In-Hyuk Lee one, where he's just standing still menacingly, because he talks a lot.
He does talk a lot. But this card is not a zombie card. It's a zombie-esque card, but it is a just destroy card, which is going to be very interesting to kind of add extra value, I think, to destroy. This kind of is conceptually kind of like a Viv Vision in a sense, where it can happen multiple times, and it's that unknown power. But
do you think, I saw someone talking about this, after last week's Yap, I actually joined Morum's server, Discord server, and I now finally get to hear all the pros talk, because I up until now I haven't. I hear it secondhand from like you or Toxic, and now I'm actually hearing them talk, and they're saying that Second Dinner is scared of Nakia effects, which I think is interesting. Like Headpool, they're like Headpool's a 1/1 they think isn't interesting, which is wild to me. Also, again, they think Viv is still a bad card. And I'm over here like I'm just happy about all of them. I like them all, and then I'm finding out everyone else thinks they're bad, and I'm like, I'm sorry, you said what? So with this, I'm thinking like, is this gonna be? I don't even know if this is gonna be that great. I'm hearing everyone else say it might not be, but I feel like I still like the idea of it. I don't know. I just don't think it's gonna be that bad. But is this? I wanted to pose this question to you. Do you think that that this card, Nakia, and Viv could all get a point of power? Because the question of like
base power
base power. Because is Nakia a bad card, but everything else is being balanced around Nakia, therefore they have to balance that way. But then if they just made the worst version of the card better, they could make everything else compensate for it. Like, how do you feel about that?
So I think Nakia's feels bad from where she used to be. She used to be +2 to every card in your hand. So that's probably...
Was it every card? I thought it was +2 to the left couple cards. I thought it was what it was.
Or she used
I'm
to
pulling
be
it up now.
+2. That's all I remember.
I'm pulling it up, but you
+2
keep saying stuff.
But I think it's definitely a slippery slope. I think with Viv, of course, since it can proc multiple times, they just gave her a point of power at a 3/3, which she probably should just release at a 3/3, so then they could have maybe seen what happens at 3/4. But I can understand where this can get a bit scary from like a design standpoint, not knowing this or knowing what the middle ground is, kind of thing. I don't know. I don't know if I don't think if Headpool went to a 1/2, I think Headpool's base power isn't something I'm as worried about, since he also gets the buff himself, opposed to Nakia and Viv not getting the buffs onto themselves.
I did look it up, by the way. Nakia original release back in 2022 was give all cards in your hand +2 power. And this was back when I believe they weren't even doing regular balance changes. 3 months later, they nerfed her to do only 2 cards. So for 3 months, she gave everything +2. They nerfed her to do only 2 cards. And then she evolved from there to where we currently have her now.
She walked so Toxie could run.
Why would you bring up the bad card?
+2 to 2 cards.
It's such a bad card, bro. Toxie sucks.
But
I want Toxie to be good.
But we think Toxie is not great. But what do you think about the Colonel? Are you excited for...
I'm so stoked to use Sam Wilson with it, right? Because it's a Captain America, right? This is definitely No, they talked about this in Team Answers. This is Colonel America, not Captain America, very specifically, so people don't ask about the shield. And it's funny because this is one that I'll point out here, because I'm the one who apparently references the Team Answers. Someone asked about this. They're like, They said, are you happy that in the Marvel Zombies universe, Steve Rogers is known as Colonel America, so people won't ask if he works with Captain America's shield, like from Sam Wilson? And Glenn's response was, what makes you think people haven't been asking me that? Which I'm like, bro, that's one of the... It's rough. It's a rough one. Not as rough as this card. Is it good?
It's got potential to be good. But you still have to discard a card every turn, right? But like if you discard 3 cards in the course of a game on different turns, +3 to your other cards is pretty good. They don't have to be ongoing cards, like regular Captain America giving the
That's the
+2.
big deal, I think, yeah.
And
because it is like, if you fill up the lane, that's a 3. What, you can get that to easily like a 3. Again, I think 3 turns is probably average, but I think getting everything else in your lane to be basically a 3/12 for Colonel America, that's solid. I feel like I think people are focusing too much on like, okay, how do I discard a card every single turn? I don't think you need to.
No, I don't think you need to. And then I'm also like, in my deck, I have Malekith. Like I have that as another option, so I don't have to play this out tempo-wise on turn 3 all the time. Like, it's also ongoing, so it doesn't have to be on the board the entire game to get the value. It's That's good late draw, like what you can do there too. So I'm interested to see how it works.
I almost considered this with Hela.
I thought about it too.
I didn't talk about a deck like that, but legit, Hella's I think in a good spot right now. But I think this card with Hella is real.
Yeah, I mean,
because that is like a 3/12, I think, easily.
You might be going back to like maybe the Agatha Hella, or maybe you are going more into just Death Hella, so you're able to target stuff a bit better, because then you could do your Blade, your Sif. You can do something like, you can still do Corvus. I mean, Corvus, of course, it only counts for the one card you discard each turn. Like Corvus, of course, still it's 2 cards both turn on the same turn, but you have to discard 1 card. So if you discard 2 cards on the same turn, it's still just +1 from that turn to Colonel America. But not a bad shout to be able to kind of like fill lanes too, and like maybe have your Hella on the Colonel lane, and then have.
And also just you can let it get discarded. Like this can get discarded and still buff up, because you're not trying to discard many 3-cost cards with Hella. Yep. So this is honestly not a bad target. However, it does. You're trying to bring back big cards, and so if this is a card you bring back, you're really putting a lot of points into a single lane, which you may not need if you're Hella. But this could be interesting. I didn't do it. Hella Tribunal. Remember that deck? But you're running Onslaught in that pile.
You're running Magic and stuff too. There's a world you can do some crazy stuff.
That one's probably more Copium. Again, not a deck I submitted, but that's one that I'm like, I thought about, and I'm like, this is. I literally wrote it all down. I'm like, I'm huffing too much right now, even for the Yap. I can't even talk about that. But are you submitting? Is it as much Copium? Which I don't know if this is the next card, but I'm drawing us into it because it is a very natural segue.
Well, before we go over, Stardust is going to be very prevalent this next season with the Horde stuff, so Hella might drop down.
Do you think so? I don't think Stardust is going to be good with against Horde.
What do you mean?
As long as you get a singular Horde on the board, which yes, it's only right now we only have Zombie Scarlet Witch, which is a turn 3, but we also have again future stuff. We'll talk about that. We also do have even just the Hunger as a 1-cost skill. We also have Zombie Mr. Fantastic for another one.
Well,
I feel like there's going to be
if you have priority and use Stardust, they're not going to get the Horde out unless they play Wasp onto the Scarlet Witch.
Yeah.
So like this week, I think specifically, it's going to be probably a tougher week. But like you said, Zombie Mr. Fantastic, and when the Hunger come out, are earlier ways to get the Horde onto the board, which can allow you to like avoid that Stardust interaction. I totally agree. But this week, I think, might be a tougher week, just because you don't have all the other pieces just yet.
Yeah, I think the realist counter against Horde is going to be, I think, Shadow King, which is part of the reason, as I mentioned, as we've hinted to, but we're holding it off for now. I think that Bounce is a solid place to mess with it, because then you can try to dodge the prio as you need to.
Yes.
But can I lead us into this the connecting card to Colonel? Okay. I don't want to throw you off too much, but anyway, Colonel America seems like it will work very well with another card coming out, Zombie Power Man, which took us way too long to realize this was Luke Cage. End of turn as a 2/4 seasonal series 4 pack, releasing again today. End of turn. If you're winning here, discard the leftmost card from your hand. Remember when we said Redshift was a mistake?
Do you like this more than Redshift?
I did almost, again, I almost had I had like 4 different versions of discard decks. One of them was like Agatha Hella stuff. I didn't do it, but it's like, I don't know if it's real. I
mean, are you trying to win that location only 1 turn, or are you trying to win it multiple turns? Like for Hella, more often than not, I probably would only want to win it 1 turn. It, of course, depends on what my hand's looking like. But if I'm my opponent, if my opponent's not playing like something like a classic discard and it's not a swarm in their leftmost side, kind of thing, because even then, that swarm then goes to the furthest right side. So it's like, I don't know necessarily how I feel about this in like even classic discard, because once you discard those cards that regenerate back into your hand, they go to the very right side of your hand. So like, I don't know if this is a better late turn kind of card to kind of set up for things, or instead of playing out on tempo.
This is one which, whenever we get to, I have this one in my Colonel America deck, because I'm trying to bring back a version of discard, and I feel like there's a chance for it because of it's been dead for a while, I feel like, which is funny with zombie, but it's I like it. This is Did you watch, by the way, Marvel Zombies? Did you watch that?
I've watched the first episode, but I haven't had really a lot of time to watch shows in a minute.
That's fair. I'm interested what you think as it finishes off. Sorry, I may or may not have bit my finger when I was distracted by stuff, and now it's just like bleeding everywhere. And I'm trying not to let it. Anyway, ADHD is crazy, bro. I've got 80 of them. If you give mouse a cookie. But I watched it. I was like, I don't know. I didn't think it was bad, but I really didn't think it was that great either.
Yeah, I heard it just went more off of the What If storyline opposed to the original like comics for Marvel Zombies, which
the ending I liked the ending, and without spoiling too much, I loved the ending and the aura farming the best.
Okay. The ending and aura farming.
If you've seen it, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And I stand by. I want the aura farmers as variants, or just to fit brand new cards. Again, if you've seen it, you know. Maybe next week Tuck will know, but
maybe. But
the aura farmers are sick. They're so cool.
I'm very low on this card. That's what I'll say. I'm pretty low on this card. I think it needs to find a specific home or something. I don't know, crazy, but not very high.
I am fully willing to agree with you that it's probably going to be bad, but there's a lot of cards I think this season, honestly most of this season, where I'm like, I really want to see this card in action before I'm willing to say that it's just bad.
That's fair.
Because you're probably right, but I want to see it.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Now, what do you think about Zombie Giant Man, the other seasonal Series 4 card that is releasing today as well? That is a 5-cost, 3-powered card. On reveal, Horde +1. Then this gains power equal to your zombie horde.
So one of the things feels like this is meant to be kind of similar to a Black Panther, where you can Zola this and get a lot of value.
Okay.
You could do Wong stuff there too to again try to put a lot of points. But again, at that point, why not just run Black Panther? And maybe this is really cool. One of the things that's been noted, and I mentioned this earlier in terms of a tease, Glenn said that this will choose, if for some reason you have multiple hordes on the board, this will choose the highest powered horde.
Okay.
Which is a nice little bonus. I want it to be cool. I have low expectations for this. There is a chance this will be playable after, I think, the Hunger skill comes out, which again we'll talk about. But up until that point, I don't see the value in this card.
Yeah, no, I think once the Hunger comes out, once you have the other enablers for this card gets better. But I think also a slight downside is playing this onto Zombie Scarlet Witch is that this procs before Zombie Scarlet Witch gives the +2 power to the Horde, so that does kind of diminish a little bit of, the value you can get onto Giant Man. And I think this is going to be definitely like a deck specific. I am playing everything. I'm going all into the Horde to kind of have this as more of like a capstone, like a Gilgamesh mixed with Taskmaster in a sense. And it,
big point, which I wanted to say, because I saw people comparing to Taskmaster. I don't like that comparison. I think it's better compared to Dracula due to the fact that it says it gains power rather than it sets its power.
I mean,
so again, which again, I'm not saying you're wrong. I like the comparison to Dracula better than to Taskmaster, because Taskmaster, no matter what he is, he always sets it. I don't know. Yeah. Maybe I'm sorry if I'm splitting hairs.
Well, I'm saying more like Taskmaster, because like with Dracula, when Dracula absorbs Apocalypse, he absorbs the next form in his hand, opposed to like Giant Man, it gets the 1 power and then it looks at it immediately, opposed to it having another like area to be able to absorb kind of thing.
That's fair. Yeah.
And it's like on the board power. That's the reason I look at it more like Taskmaster is it's on the board opposed to Dracula. But I do like the idea of, like you're saying, also with Dracula being another very solid comparison.
Yeah, but that's me splitting a lot of hairs. That's all 5 cards that are releasing just today. So we're getting, in total, I believe, 10 cards this season. 5 of them are today.
Yeah, 5 cards on the first day of the season. Woohoo!
there's a whole thing we could talk about in terms of like, card acquisition and stuff. At the
That's
same
not
time,
for today, though.
at the same time, I absolutely love that they are putting more cards at the beginning of the season. And I don't know if I need 5, but I love that when I climb to infinite, it's not just everyone playing the new card or the counter to new card.
Yes, that is good.
So more diversity in the style of decks, and also more people trying to figure out a brand new mechanic, I think has me a lot more excited for this than I get later on during the month when it's going to be 5 people running this, which I think is the last card of the month if we want to skip all the way ahead.
Yeah, my stuff is going crazy. Hold on.
No, you're good. When I gave you these files, I didn't number them like I told you I should have.
Which, the next card I do believe we have releasing is going to be Zombie Mr. Fantastic. I think.
Thank goodness I needed 3 versions of Mr. Fantastic into the game, which, by the way, speaking of Headpool, again, we have a data mined one for, I think, December.
We have another Headpool?
No, a data mined version of Deadpool. There's a Wade Wilson.
Oh, yeah.
Remember?
We just want to have every single Marvel character and their alias and this variant and this variant, which that's Marvel.
More. I'd rather have the aliases. I'm so tired. I hate I hate the first step bits. I wish it was just aliases. If they're gonna change them up, because otherwise we have to say things like we have to differentiate them by Mr. Fantastic, Pedro, and then ZMF. Which is actually how this guy is being referred to.
Yep. I mean, Zombie Scarlet Witch I refer to as ZSW.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. Sorry, you can talk about the card.
Zombie Mr. Fantastic is a Series 5 card, 2 cost, 2 powered. On reveal, your horde gets +2. And then you also have an activate ability. Activate, give
first one
4 of your created cards +1 power.
First card that has an activate and an on reveal.
Woohoo.
I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. I think this is the best. I think this is potentially the best card this month.
Okay.
There's one card that I like more, but it's probably going to be worse, and we'll talk about it. Actually, in terms of funness, there's 2 cards. But there's one card I think that might be better because I like what it can do. But I think that this just feels like one of the best cards of the month due to the fact that it is such an easy slot into a lot of decks.
It's going to be like a Jocasta Zoo kind of thing. Like getting extra Jocasta token value. Like this card is going to be pretty solid. And I think looking at the other cards this season, this does look like one of the better cards, which is why I want to say like this season just isn't as enticing to me. Yeah. But I see the power that this card can do with the activate and with tokens and everything. So I'm interested to see how this like fundamentally can do things. But it has 2 abilities, and it gives you gives you a token on the board, and it also gives you power to tokens. So
that's why. And I think legitimately what you're talking about with Zoo, and we're not there yet, but I'm just gonna spoiler that I think that I will be doing next week, I will probably be doing a Jocasta Prodigy Zombie Mr. Fantastic Zoo version just to cope hard. Because, listen, there's no way that Zoo is still good, but I'm just going to say that it's going to be fun.
Yeah, I mean, Zoo will be fun, and, at the same time, it doesn't even have to be Zoo stuff. Like, this also can be just a good bonus to, Mysterios and other things, too.
Victoria Hand.
Victoria Hand.
That deck really needed a buff.
Yeah, no, this with Victoria Hand. Dance, why did you have to say that? Now I'm going to make a Victoria Hand deck. Okay, well.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Oh, no, Victoria Hand. Zombie Mr. Fantastic. And then...
Honestly, I think that card is cool still. That Victoria Hand, even if it's being played more. I just think it's fun.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. But you know what else is pretty cool, Dance? We're having one of your favorite limited time game modes being added back into Snap. And it is going to be the good old Sanctum Showdown, or should I say, Dance's Guardians Paradise. as we do also have the Hunger releasing into Sanctum Showdown.
I mean, I still don't think Guardians are that good in the game mode, but they're still solid. And I'm happy. Please, I've actually been playing my free-to-play account. I don't know if, what is it? I'm not going to get it all the way to Infinite, but I got to 90.
Really?
I'm collection level, I'm not even 300.
You're just freaking killing it. What are you playing? What decks are you playing?
I'm playing, I think a version of, it's like a weird version of Zoo.
Okay.
Basically. I've got like, I have Onslaught. I've got 3 different 5 costs. I've got Iron Man, Claw, and Blue Marvel.
Okay.
And then a bunch of other cheap cards in there, a bunch of 1 costs. I have Danger in there. I have the new Danger because I got that for free.
Danger, I've been liking that card.
I got Fastos as my free Series 4 card. No. As a free Series 4 card, I got one of them was Fastos, and then the other one from the login rewards, I got Cobra. I felt so sad at that point. I'm like, oh really? This is all right. Yeah, my free this I really need this. No, I'm 369 apparently.
369, just like the Hunger adding 3 power to the Horde as a 1-cost skill.
Yeah, which is going to be fun. I think this card I think is one of the best enablers for Horde.
It is the best synergy for Zombie Scarlet Witch.
Yeah, I think onto Zombie Scarlet Witch, by the way, which makes this a 1/5.
Yes.
Yeah.
1/5 seems pretty good, and you don't take up the board space. Seems pretty nice.
Exactly. There's a lot of benefits to this guy. I think it'll be. I also just like it as a card. I think it's cool. So I'm hoping this card is good.
This card is what I'm not gonna say make or breaks the Zombie Horde season, but like it's definitely.
I think
up
you can
there.
say that.
It's definitely
not
really
makes or breaks
fun.
the whole season.
No,
yeah, I think it makes
the
or breaks the
Horde
mechanic.
archetype. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah. I agree. I honestly agree with that 100%.
Yeah.
I think this will be the big thing.
It's good.
But it's cool. I'm hoping it's gonna be fun. It'll be as far as I believe they said. I think this and then whenever we get to the other limited time event / Series 4 card, I think both of them are available technically for free. No more Kid Omega stuff. I think they said they should be available for free in these. If I'm not mistaken, there's gonna be passes. I think you can get extra. It just looks like variants and stuff that you can spend 800 gold for. Which, if it's everyone always says make it so we spend money for cosmetics. Looks like that's probably going to be what's going to be happening inside of those, which will be hopefully nice.
Yeah, definitely would rather spend money or have us have to spend money on cosmetics than have to spend it on new cards. So I totally agree there. Which then brings us from that, I believe the next card we have on our list is going to be none other than Zombie Captain Marvel, which this card looks very interesting.
This is the one that again. So now I hear pros, bro. I hear pros, and now they're influencing my thoughts. But they're saying that they don't think this card's gonna be great. What do you feel about this card? And also, what do you think? What does it do? Because I'm an auditory listener.
So this is a brand new Series 5 card. Is a 4-cost, 4-powered card. Activate. Destroy your other cards here to get +3 power for each, and then move to a location you are losing. So, what these players that Dance are talking about are referring to is, it's a very popular card right now that's very easy just to slot into the meta. Mercury. And so, while you might be able to destroy your other cards here to get extra power onto Zombie Captain Marvel, that is going to be not only a choreographed play, because this is an activate card, so you have to do that. Of course, with Jocasta could pre-activate this and then move it to another location. Yes, but then you're also destroying Jocasta, and you have to set up your lanes with other activates to probably get other value out of Jocasta to originally start there. So, like, the ceiling for this card, this going from a 4/4 to getting, +9 power to a 4/13 is pretty cool, and then moving to lane to help you win the game seems awesome in theory. But I think it's the choreographedness, I think, of this card. And, of course, I just said, because tech card exists, this makes this card bad. But, like, it's a difference when the tech card is a cheaper card that people are already playing a lot of, and not just in Cannonball move decks or Cannonball Mercury decks. I think that's one of the downsides. And 4-cost activates have always been in more of a tough spot. I mean, Omega Sentinel, of course, we were like, she's pretty good. You know, she gets that, you know, -7. But like the whole aspect, what you really want to do with this card is destroy, you know, the other cards in your lane. And you want this card to move to help you win that lane because you're just throwing the lane you're playing Zombie Captain Marvel in. So your opponents can really just focus on other lanes to kind of try and win.
Yeah, which speaking of, or they actually focused, I think, on her lane originally.
Yeah, or that.
But
too.
I think, the best way for this card to exist is, and spoilers probably for when you talk about this in your buy or bust, but this feels like one of the best things for Nimrod.
Yeah, this definitely will be an auto Nimrod, like immediately happens kind of card, instead of like one of Nimrod's downsides, which is what made Kid Omega better, is, you know, being able to just destroy the card on that turn. Setting that up for that has always been beneficial. So like this definitely has some synergy there. Of course, in general, Nimrod's in a very just interesting spot too, right? Because of Stardust. You know, so we'll see, but I think the fun side,
I like what it can do.
Yes.
Yeah, that's why I'm like this. That's one of the cards I mentioned earlier. Where I'm like, I don't know if it's going to be great, but it has a lot of cool stuff it can do, and that's fun.
Yes. And we do.
So that's where I'm at with this guy. Or this gal.
And then we also, is it? I don't think it's same week. I think it is. Let me.
I think it would be. I think it's the maybe either the same week or week following. But I believe that we have the last of the Horde cards, I think, following.
Yes, we actually have one of our last cards comes out before the next Series 5 card comes out, according to the calendar over here, which that next card is going to be none other than Zombie Sentry, which is a Series 4 card coming to Grand Arena. We have Grand Arena coming back to Snap. You might call it Tech Slop Arena if you played a lot of it last time to try and grind for Kid Omega. But we do have the Zombie Sentry.
Kid Omega wasn't in that one. Who was it?
No, it was.
Kid Omega was in Grand Arena?
It was Mole Man and Mad Thinker. Kid Omega was not
Mole Man and the other meta staples.
The other meta staples that you'd it was just Tech Slop. Kid Omega was in something else. Yeah. I was in the
which, by the way, I think my face is frozen, but unrelated to that. They apparently new champions. They've got Magneto, Thor, Hulk, and Ghost Spider.
Ooh, so you can play Move into this game right now.
But then they have Magneto as well.
Yeah, so I'd be interested to see what their abilities are. I'm excited for that.
Didn't we have something where it was like Magneto Brotherhood of like Hulk Smash as a thing? I feel like I feel like we saw some of those in terms of like data mine stuff.
Yes.
So I'm interested in how they're actually going to work. And I think we're getting a patch, I think, next Tuesday. So keep on the lookout, by the way. So I believe next Tuesday we will be uploading late.
Yes.
Not skipping a week due to unforeseen circumstances like we did 2 weeks ago. We'll be uploading late, hopefully on Tuesday.
Yep.
In order to talk about all the new data mines, the potential confirmed cards for I think the December season, as well as it's X-Force. No, I think it's Weapon X.
Weapon X stuff, and then maybe new Spider-Man adjustments or something, or maybe they'll stay the same.
Spider-Man, or also the skills for Grand Arena.
True, we might get the Grand Arena skills before it releases this month. Would make sense.
Yeah, because we've seen the names, so we just don't have the abilities. So, which, by the way, did we talk about what the card is? Actually, at all, we just talked about Grand Arena.
We said it's Zombie Sentry, but it's a 3-cost 4-power card on reveal. Horde +1 for each of your cards at the right location.
And that can include itself is an interesting point.
Oh, really?
There's nothing stopping it.
Oh, that's true. It doesn't say each of your other cards. It says each of your cards.
Yeah, so you can play Zombie Sentry into the right lane just to make it a 3/5.
Yeah. More enabling things.
I was lower on this card at first, but the fact that as soon as I realized that, where I was like, oh wait, I think you can also just play this card yourself into the right lane. It pushed it up a little bit. I'm not going to say it's great, but it did kind of like, it made it seem better than it potentially than I was originally thinking on it.
It definitely helps it in the sense too, where you could play this in like a Kitty Pryde style shell. where you're having cards returning back to your hand. Like, this is not something that says cards in play. It just says cards in general, so it doesn't mean they don't have to be revealed too. So you can have that as like an extra buff or like benefit. I think that's beneficial. Yes, beneficial. For this card.
Which might mean you want to play like Zombie Scarlet Witch in that right lane.
Yeah. And it's not locked out of not being able to play into the farthest lane like regular Sentry.
Yeah, exactly. So interesting stuff. I'm excited to see how all this works. Which, by the way, I was thinking about all the animation and the cool stuff from this current season that we are still just now finishing up. With all the tech stuff, they all have really cool animations.
Yep.
I'm hoping these new cards have sick animations as well. I've seen a few of them in the dev video.
None of the Series 4 cards had animations. Or, yeah, I don't think any of the Series 4 cards had animations in the video.
I thought Zombie Sentry did. Maybe I'm wrong.
Well, I don't.
No. They didn't show them. They didn't show them.
Yeah.
That's what it is. So we didn't see if they have any animations. Which, even if we didn't see them, they'll probably have some soon. Like, even who was it? Terrax didn't have any upon release. And then after like a week or two, they added animation for it, which was honestly a really good thing, because I feel like that was confusing. So I'm hoping that we get some animations for these. Look, you're just like, okay, I think it was this, which like the animations legitimately do help in that type of stuff, which is why I stand by the thing I said last week. Shadow King needs an animation. Why doesn't Shadow King have an animation?
You just see the reset opposed to like.
It's just it's the most lackluster thing. In, like even before Shang-Chi had the sound effects where it's like power must be controlled. Like it still did the dragon cool thing.
Yep. No more animations, more bugs, please. Second dinner, let my game crash.
Just test it. Okay, second dinner, high VFX team, test it with Mysterio.
Yes.
That's it. Test with Mysterio. 90% of your bugs will be there.
And multiple men.
And check those two, please. And then you can do it.
Yes, please do that. Which, we then have another really cool card also releasing later that week as well. The next day, which is going to be Zombie Galacti.
Yeah. Zombie Galacti is a 7-cost 4-power card that says at the start of the game, you choose 6 other cards, so 6 random other cards in your deck. And then on reveal, you transform those cards. So whenever you play Zombie Galacti, the 7-cost card, on reveal, transform those cards into copies of this.
Yeah.
I've heard one good thing, and I think we talked about that last week, where I think it's Khonshu.
Khonshu, which we saw from guest stream. Someone was talking about Khonshu being like a good shout here, or like it's you're buffing this card. You're really trying to buff this card, and I think you see which cards can transform into Galacti, but your opponents can't.
I don't know if we have do we have confirmation on that?
I don't know if we have confirmation, but I saw there was like a hue or an aura around the cards on the board when I was looking at them during the deck video or the dev video. So we'll see how that works, but it's very, very interesting.
This feels like one that I think you would probably want to have some sort of aura or animation around, because if the cards just change without any like any knowledge, you're just like, oh, these were things I needed to worry about. Like in the I feel like that should be something on. There should probably be an effect on it.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is the one where I'm like, I really hope this card is good.
Yeah. I'll be interested.
Or not even good.
See. Just I hope this card is playable. Is I think the better idea.
Yeah, like this is the first 7 like I'm someone who's been asking for Fing Fang Foom for 500 years, and I want it to be the 7-cost card that has no ability, but you just have to play it on curve because it's big stats, and that's it. But then this card is also a 7-cost card that you have to ramp out.
Yeah, which is why the Khonshu deck makes the most sense, because it's Corvus things and stuff.
Yeah. We'll see how it goes. I'm interested in this. I don't know how... Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how I'm going to feel about this guy. I really want it to be good. I want this card to be great. Or not even great. I just want it to be good.
Yeah. We'll see how this card ends up. If this card's too good, that's another just like crazy RNG card that we gotta worry about and stuff too. Not saying RNG is the worst thing ever, but there's a fine line, you know.
Yeah. There's an inherent deck building you have to do with this card as well, though. So that's why I don't even know if I'm going to hate it as much, where it's like you have to play around this card. You have to build with this card in mind. And so a lot of the stuff you're going to have to do, it's gonna matter based off this card, which I think is going to be cool. So there's a lot of really cool cards this season. I like them. I'm excited. But Tuck, as you know we do, we got to rate them. Should have had my rating thing ready that I normally have, and I don't. So Tuck, would you do me a favor and give me the card that you think is going to be just... I'm going to go with the worst. We go worst first. Hit me with the card you think is just going to be probably the worst card released this month while I type this out very quickly.
I'm thinking Zombie Power Man.
Yeah, you're right. Oh, you know what? Actually, that's my 9.
Okay.
My 10, I think, is going to be Zombie Giant Man.
Zombie Giant Man.
I don't have much faith. I have a lot more faith in the Horde archetype than I do Zombie Giant Man himself.
Okay.
If that makes sense. Zombie Power Man is right there, I think, though. Who do you got as your number 9 then?
Oh, that's very interesting. So you said Zombie Giant Man is your number 9? I don't think he's that low for me.
Or Zombie Power Man is my number 9. Zombie Giant Man is my number 10.
Giant Man is number 10. I'm gonna put... I guess I might have to put him at number 9. Yeah, I'll put him at 9.
Yeah, it's not even that I'm trying to like be... It's just like everything else, I feel like there's a lot more playability in the other options.
Yeah, I'm trying to think like legitimately like broad scope.
Which honestly, I feel like a lot more cards than I was originally thinking. Like as I'm taking time and thinking about these, I'm like, maybe these are more playable than I thought. A lot more of them. I don't know. But going into that, who do you think who's your number 8 then? Number 8.
Number 8 would probably be... I'm gonna go Zombie Sentry.
Yeah, I'm gonna mirror you. That Zombie Sentry, like, it's also from a fun perspective. I actually think this card is potentially really solid. I think it might be fine, but as you know, I like to sprinkle in a little bit of my own personal like bias and what have you. And it doesn't seem that exciting. Doesn't seem that amazing.
Yeah.
And well, I agree with you there. I'm gonna hit you with my 7 and 6.
Okay.
Because number 7, it's probably more playable than this, but I'm gonna have to give number 7, I think, to Colonel America.
Okay.
I think there's a chance it's a lot more playable, but again, in terms of like, also I feel like there's that excitement level in terms of like what this card can do. And it doesn't do anything. It doesn't do anything crazy that really blows my skirt up. I don't know the phrase, but I'm using that. But Zombie Galacti, I think, is my 6. It isn't in my top half. I think Zombie Galacti, I like the card. I really want it to be good. But I'm gonna be honest, like the 7 cost stat line it's just such it feels like a big debuff.
Okay. I'm gonna go Colonel and Zombie Captain Marvel.
Colonel as your 7?
Yep.
Yeah, that's fair. Why Zombie Captain Marvel here?
Because the more I talk, like we were talking about Zombie Captain Marvel, and like yes, she can move to a location you're winning, but like there's also like she could just lose that location, right? Your opponent, like the game Snap is a 2-lane game. So if she moves to a different location that you're losing, your opponent it's a 50-50 potentially there. But your opponent can like just play around that really well.
Yeah. And it does say specifically that you're losing, not one that wins you the game, which is a big difference. And that's fair. I will agree with you. I think Zombie Captain Marvel is right there for me. It's my number 5, I would probably say.
Okay.
Who's your number 5 then?
My number 5 will probably be Headpool.
Headpool. Okay. Ooh, so Zombie Galacti's sneaking up a little bit. That's fair. Then what do you have for your number 4? Let's get to the 4. Let's knock
I'll
both
go
of our 4s
Zombie
out here.
Galacti at number 4.
This is where you're gonna throw Zombie Galacti. Okay. That's fair. I think. Is this? I feel like I'm. Yeah, I feel like Mr. Fantastic is gonna be a lot better than. Yeah, I think Headpool is correct. I think we're gonna be having. I think we have the same top 3 different orders, but I'm gonna have to put Headpool as my number 4. I'm not gonna say my top, but I will say my number 3 is. It's. I think it's. So the last 3 for what it's worth are Hunger, Zombie Mr. Fantastic, and Zombie Scarlet Witch. So Horde cards is our top 3. Both of us have Horde cards top 3, which is a notable thing. Am I saying Zombie Scarlet Witch?
You might be. I'm doing Hunger at my 3.
Hunger is fair. That's fair. Okay.
Zombie Scarlet Witch is an entire like archetype enabler and can be procced like multiple times, which is why I put her above the Hunger.
That's fair. I'm not even, yeah, you know what? I'm just gonna walk myself back. I'm gonna say Hunger is no way my favorite card. No, I'll agree with you. Actually, I'm gonna agree with you there. I think Zombie Scarlet Witch, I'm just gonna say it is my number 2, Hunger as number 3.
Yep.
Because it is the archetype enabler.
Yep.
I think that's a good way to think about that and a good perspective change. Which means my number 1 is known. Who's your number 1?
Zombie Mr. Fantastic is my number 1.
Yeah, we both have the same ones, which means actually we have the same top 3.
Yep.
Which is, yeah, that's fair. I think because the fact that Zombie Mr. Fantastic also, I think the biggest thing that you mentioned earlier is just he has multiple abilities into the same card.
Yep.
Which also it has a bit more diversity in what it wants to do. Matters a lot. So I like that stuff. That's a good little note there. I'm not going to do a full recap of every single one of our takes there. But at least our top 3 are the same, with both of us having Zombie Mr. Fantastic as number 1, Zombie Scarlet Witch as number 2, and the Hunger as our number 3. But Zombie Scarlet Witch is the card coming out tomorrow, Tuck.
Yep.
She's not on screen, but she is sick. She could be on screen if we talk about her decks, though.
She could be on screen indeed, as we are going to start off in our next section over here when we're talking about these decks.
Would you look at that? I mean, the fact that you can bounce these zombies, I feel like is a very real thing. And I like this the bounce deck in general, especially considering that the Horde has is 0 cost. One notable difference, I think, 2 of the notable differences, actually the biggest difference from just like normal bounce decks, I've got Ghost Spider in here because as a 1/3, it's just good stats, but also it pulls a card off of that lane for you.
Yeah.
And I think the biggest change, if you made a change in this list, could potentially be Rocket Raccoon swapping in for Kitty Pryde.
Yeah, I think that would be interesting. I think bounce is definitely a very solid option like for this like style of play. My gut wants to put Merlin in here in some way, shape, or form, and like,
I thought about
Hood,
that,
but it works. But like it also on the Scarlet Witch lane, you really have to play your cards out the right way, or you're just gonna shuffle Scarlet Witch back or polymorph her.
Yeah. So I thought about that for what it's worth.
Yeah. But you'll put the Hunger in here when the Hunger comes out.
Yes, Hunger fits in here immediately without like a second thought.
Yeah, but I like this. My head didn't go to bounce immediately because I forgot that the Horde was a 0-powered Horde. Or zero cost,
costed, yeah.
0-costed Horde. So I like this a lot, actually.
Yeah, there's a lot of fun here. I do think, actually, as I'm looking at this, I really feel like I may actually want to just take out Rocket for Kitty Pryde, which might be a change I'm going to make already, but I like it. What do you have, though? Because I'm pretty sure I like your pile, and I actually went there initially in my brain.
We have the Token Horde over here, which is going to be more of the Merlin kind of aspect I was thinking of when it comes to Zombie Scarlet Witch. I think mine is definitely a little cost heavy right now. This is not fully optimized. But this is like just where my head went in general. You have power buffs with Gwenpool and Viv Vision, as well as cards that you can play onto Scarlet Witch to move them. You have Kate Bishop with the grapple arrow to move cards. You have Kitty Pryde. You have Merlin to be able to get some of these, the Hood off of Zombie Scarlet Witch, or be able to play Hood and Misery on the same turn onto Zombie Scarlet Witch to get more Horde value. The Horde, of course, is a token, which works for Mockingbird. So you have a different ways to get Mockingbird, and then also play out other cards for like Sasquatch value for like a big slam towards the end of the game.
I actually like the Mockingbird shout. That's one I haven't heard before, so I like that particular shout here as well. Yeah, there's a lot of fun stuff here. I like that. I missed the shout for Mockingbird. That's a really good one I hadn't thought about before. I think I was thinking similar to Sasquatch Pile initially as well, but I think I like that. I think the best card for Zombie Scarlet Witch after the Hunger will be, I think, Kitty Pryde.
Yeah. It's like Hope Summers, all over again, or a move card, like they said in the video. You're Jeff the Baby Landshark. I think people might be playing some like Silky Smooth stuff potentially. We'll see how that works, but
that's why I threw Ghost Spider in, just because I was like, why not try to just get more cards away from there after you get it?
Yep,
I like it.
And then next we're going to talk about is the head pool, which, by the way, Dance and I made very similar decks for head pool.
We have I think it's one card different.
Yes, one card different. He has Kid Omega in instead of Deathlock. I have Deathlock in instead. It's kind of going to be one of those things where you test to see which one you really enjoy more, because at the end of the day, the Kid Omega interaction with Deadpool is whenever Deadpool gets destroyed by Kid Omega then gets the concurrent power of Deadpool, kind of like when Dracula discards Apocalypse, you then get the concurrent power of Apocalypse onto your Dracula, which is just a really cool interaction there. And then we're both running a Mora, and I think with Mora too, to be able to get that extra value. And the order you would play this, by the way, is you go Mora first and then Headpool. So when you destroy Mora, you get the copies card in your hand, and then when you destroy Headpool, all those copies also get the extra power from Headpool. Think of the way you used to play. Yeah. And before both, you play Deadpool.
You have Deadpool.
Yes, or before both, if you're really waiting to do it all in turn 3. Kind of things too.
That's turn 1, Deadpool. Turn 2 is your Headpool and Moira. Turn 3 is, honestly, no. Turn 1 is Agony. Turn 2 is Deadpool, then Moira. Turn 3 is Headpool and Carnage.
Yes.
And that's the god line right there.
Yes. Or we're getting X23 out earlier too to continue just doing ramp stuff. There's going to be options too. I'm also not dead set on Mora being in the list. Mora just gives you extra options, which is just nice to be able to destroy more and more stuff and have more stuff to destroy.
Moira stuff.
Yeah, Mora stuff.
Yeah, we had the basically same list though. I like that general stuff. And I actually think Deathlock could be a better shout here due to the fact that you have more 1 costs in this deck, and so maybe you do want to get rid of more of them. I'm uncertain. I don't know, and I am fine with waiting and finding out.
Yeah, we'll definitely be checking and seeing, what happens there. But then we also have the Colonel, a classic. He is playing some good old Helicarrier discard.
Listen, I don't know if it's going to be great, but I loved the idea of okay, well, if your hand is just how do you get this card continually useful? And also, I really liked it with Zombie Power Man. They were trying to release them together. It feels like they want you to be able to do both. So if you want to do both, how do you do it? And I think Colonel America into Zombie Power Man, and then you have the Helicarrier just to continue discarding and getting extra value there.
Yep.
Therefore, you've also gotten a lot of other, hopefully good cards, and then whenever the Helicarrier cards get pushed over to the left, you don't care as much about those just getting discarded, so it just also kind of gives you a little bit of fodder for stuff here as well.
Yeah.
Notable thing, this deck does not have MODOK.
No MODOK because you have Zombie Power Man to discard all your cards for you, and you also have Gambit, Dance's new favorite card, in order to be able to get...
I forgot. Yeah, we opened on that. Yeah. How much of the rant did we get? I don't know. Never mind. Yeah. We'll see how bad this is. The Apocalypse could be a big mistake with Dracula here as well. There's a lot of potential mistakes in this deck, I'm willing to fully say, but I liked the concept. I love the idea of Helicarrier potentially being a real card.
They didn't make Zombie Power Man like a 2/6.
2/5, I feel.
Even though it's something you play later in the game and you don't get the downside, so I totally get that from a balancing standpoint. 2/6, 2/5 might be too much. Maybe this card, we're overlooking it. But it just feels like the downside when it comes to some of these 2-power cards like you would think of like a Silk 2/5 and moves to another location. You know, Maximus, you draw another card. Like that's like the 2/5, 2/6, 2/4 was like, you know, the Colleen stat line.
But that's the thing, right? Where it's like Colleen Wing got nerfed to a 2/3 because it was actually it was too good.
Yeah.
And so maybe Zombie Power Man's actually going to fill a similar role there.
Yeah.
Which is it's one of those things where it's gonna be people are gonna be annoyed. They're like, okay, Second Dinner nerfs this old card because they want to bring in a new card and they want people to buy the new card. Yes, yes, I'm willing to put money on the fact that yes, Second Dinner nerfs cards in order to make other cards seem interesting.
Yeah.
Or at least open up a different design space, because yeah, that's a question they want you to ask. They want you to figure out if you want to run both, if you don't want to run one or the other. Like that is a legitimate thing they want you to try to consider. So I believe that's an actual point that they were trying to think of here.
Yeah, no, I think that's a really good shout too. I hadn't thought about it that way. I do have Malekith in there as another way to potentially cheat him out instead of having to tempo him out necessarily. So you can still just be discarding things, having extra energy to do stuff as well, and then conchuing back a Colonel America could also be pretty good.
Yeah, this is, I mean, I think if there's one of the places, my list has many problems with it legitimately, with the fact I'm wanting to use Collector and Helicarrier cards that aren't typically great. You are talking about more of a classic list that is pretty solid. It's proven well, and slotting Colonel America into here could make a lot of sense and might be a lot better. So I'm fully willing to accept that idea, fully willing to mess with it. So I like this stuff as well. This feels like another interesting place. I'm excited to see how the Colonel fits into Snap, not with the shield.
Yes, no shield Colonel. We'll see how these cards, you know, impact the game itself. Are these cards going to be meta relevant? Are enough people going to be messing around with the new cards? Or is this new season just going to be a repeat? I don't know about you, Dance, but I haven't been super pushed to play as much Snap recently. Not that I'm like super down on Snap. It's just I'm not super excited with the meta right now. I know it's super open for the most part, and there's still, you know, options to be able to play and stuff, but I'm still not like feeling a pull to play Snap right now.
Yeah. No, I think that's fair. I feel similar in that, honestly, where it's like I don't feel a big desire to mess with a bunch of stuff in Snap. I don't hate it, though. I'm kind of just like, I'm glad that the game it feels like it's not punishing me for not wanting to play it continually. I don't know. I feel like I've got other things as well. Like I do enjoy playing. I also, even if I am like, I'm trying to figure out what I want to do for the Golden Gauntlet coming up this weekend, and I'm trying to play a lot of stuff, try to figure that out. I'm kind of just enjoying the fact that like I can take a second and breathe before this next week where there's 5 new cards coming out. And I'm like, well, I want to may or may not be trying to make a bunch of stuff with them. So it's like a lot of those things. I feel like it's just good to like pause and then take a breath and be like, all right, I'll enjoy this little bit of respite, and then jump back into it head first with all these brand new cards, brand new mechanics, brand new different ways to build decks. So I agree with you. I don't know if it's a bad thing, but I do agree with you that I haven't felt as pushed to play like a grind in Snap as much as like just been terms of like just actually like practicing. I don't know it all. So honestly, part of it I think can feel like the meta is so open. And I think it's weird. I think when the meta is more open, the game feels less at times like desirable to try to play, because then you have to try to figure out what you want to play if you want to like try to meta the best stuff. And it can be tiring for people trying to figure that out.
Yeah, no, I agree. And like I also agree that like there's going to be so many new decks and like stuff to be able to play this next week.
Yeah.
Which is why you guys need to be checking out Dance's channel, because he's going to make a deck guide on a large variety of these decks. You guys should have seen last season, which if you guys did not see last season, definitely go check out his videos on last season and everything too, which will be down in the description below, youtube.com/notmydance. You can also catch him live on Twitch, where he probably, depending on how early it is, might be streaming the Golden Gauntlet as well. If you guys want to check it out, his live reactions, commentary, and takes and plays as he plays in the Golden Gauntlet this next weekend, definitely check that out on his Twitch, which will be down in the description below, as well as wherever you can find his deck guides or just his decks in general. Good splits, good takes, questions for you guys in the community. Right now, he's trying to get a name for his phone. which I didn't know was a thing that's happening, which will be on his Twitter. That info will be down in the description below. Please definitely check out all of Dance's content as you guys are trying to also either get all the cards or decide if you guys want to get the new cards, because Dance is collection complete and will have live reactions to playing the new cards. So give you guys a better general idea if you guys do want the cards itself. But yeah, I think that the general gist. I know that was a shorter kind of last segment, but I think we talked a lot about the brand new cards. We have a big season. We have 10 cards, 5 cards coming out today. We gave you guys 3 decks each. I'll go ahead and I'll link Dance's Destroy deck down in the description below too, which has Kid Omega instead of Deathlock. So if you are a little bit lazy and don't want to just do the card swap in game itself, you can have the link to click. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Let us know down below what your guys' thoughts are on the Horde season. The word of the episode will be Horde. But yeah, it's been real. God bless and laters.